What up, y'all? Back with another one. For those that are brand new, welcome, welcome. And for those that are returning, welcome back. And as you can tell by the topic, I want to talk about this. I'm so jealous of kids, so envious of kids. And the reason why I'm jealous and envious of kids is because, when kids are born, they come into this world. They come into this world just regular, like everybody else. You know, not a care in the world or anything. They're just born. And so when they born, they born with those components, not being attached to anything besides their mother and father. They just live. And so the only way that they can end up being the way they are, like adults and people who's growing up, is that it has to be put in them, by the parents and society, as they grow up. Because if these things wasn't installed in their brains, they would it would be regular people. Regular people meaning that they'll be carefree. And just think about that for a second, like, kids that you see them when they like two, 3, and 4. They just be playing, be very curious kids and ask a bunch of questions and things like that. But they don't have any type of responsibilities or anything. They just play. They just do what they do, and they in La La Land. They're doing whatever they need to do to make themselves happy. And us, parents or whatever, or people or guardians or people who's not their parent or people who's raising them, they instill these things into these children, and so they start following it. You know, it's almost like you know the situation like it make you wonder. Like damn, all these kids that be playing like when you sit here, like for instance, like for me, I'd be sitting here watching my nieces play, all the time. When they play, they be all for each other. Just both of them. They get mad and argue amongst each other behind toys and stuff like that. But for the most part, they are they are carefree, just doing their thing, man, just being kids. You know what I'm saying? And the only thing they really worried about is you giving them food and water, right? And you give them food and water. You know, obviously this way that we adopted that, you make the money, you feed the kids, which all the food is nasty anyway. I mean, they slowly killing us with it. You know what I'm saying? But, they make it seem like that the food off the land is not good for you. It's bad. But anyway, yeah, that's the only thing that they worry about, That and also, going to the bathroom and somebody helping them wipe up or whatever. Other than that, they carefree kids, man, just playing. And they don't have the stresses and stuff that we have. They don't have none of those thoughts or anything. They're just playing, they're just doing their thing. And again, they start developing this stuff as they get older, right? Once their brains start to develop even more, they start carrying these things, you know, carrying on the burden of life. You know what I'm saying? Of being a responsible young adult, right? But when you're a kid, you don't have those worries. Like I can remember when I was a kid, the only thing I had to do was pretty much just clean the house. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, my mom, she pretty much provided for us, in the way that we all traditionally know. But other than that, we were carefree kids. We just played. We didn't have no responsibilities or anything. We just lived our life. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't have any clue about how to do this and how to do that. Because only thing we knew was to go hang out with our friends. hang out with our friends and do whatever it is that we're gonna do that day, and then come in when the street lights come on. That's it. And so this stuff is not even, stuff is not embedded in us, it's being taught into us. And so we carry the burden when we get older in life, and we have all these stressors and stuff going on, because it's being taught to us. But just think, if none of that stuff ever really happened to us, meaning that none of this stuff was put into us, how would we be? I mean, truly, how would we be? And you couldn't say it, to me, you couldn't say a lost cause, because obviously, you can't tell a child something that they don't have a clue about if it was never brought up to them in the first place. And so when you bring up this stuff to children, they start having the thoughts of their mind, you know what I'm saying, that, oh, you need to start doing what other people do. And then lo and behold, before you know it, they start acting like these people what they told them. But beforehand, they didn't have these things going on. They didn't have nobody telling them besides their mother and father about, what it is that they need to do as far as, being kids and making sure they stay clean. They didn't have these things put into their minds, man. They didn't. I mean, if you want to say, give them a little direction, like, hey, you're not supposed to be hitting people. You're not supposed to be doing this and doing that, right? Making sure they don't hurt other people, whatever, right? That's basic standard stuff, right? Well, other than that, as far as like teaching them about the world and how it is out here, if they didn't have a clue, they wouldn't even be worried about shit. It's like that saying, not the saying, but it's like that book that I read when I was a kid. Peter Pan. Never Land. When you go into Peter Pan's world, you know what I'm saying. You become a kid. You stay a kid forever. And I don't know about y'all, but that's what I want to do. I want to crawl back into that place and stay a kid and never become an adult. Because being an adult is stressful because of what's being taught to me. You know what I'm saying? When I can just pretty much live my life and explore the world at my own leisure. You know what I'm saying? But most people will look at this and they'll frown. They'll be like, nah, man, this is how life's supposed to be. Is it? I don't think so, y'all. I really don't, because like I said before, like, when you're a child, you don't know any of this stuff. This stuff has to be put into you. And so once it's put into you, you already develop it. And once you develop it, they got you. Because you're going to spend your whole entire life, or the majority of your life, chasing nothing but titles. And you're going to lose your identity. And you're not going to be the person that you were when you was first born. They get stripped away from you the moment you be taught all this stuff about how the world works and how things are. And so, yeah, y'all, I just want y'all to just take some, take a few minutes to think about that, man. Really, really think about that. Like, this stuff didn't happen to you, but this stuff didn't happen to you just because it was taught into you. And so these are the kind of things that be floating through my head, y'all. Like, and then also, like I said, when I be seeing my nieces and stuff doing what they do, like, it is super duper carefree, and just when you look at them, you go, I mean, well, as for me, I don't know about anybody else, but for me, when I look at them, I'm like, damn, I'm so jealous. So, with that being said, hit like, comment, and subscribe, man. And give me y'all thoughts and opinions on this video, man. And I'll holler at y'all on the next one. I'm gone.